Hello, everybody. It's midday, and do you know what? I don't even know what day of the week it is. I know it's Wednesday, really, but I've completely forgotten because I'm on holiday this week, Steve.
Lucky you. And this is your commitment to the show, Graham, that even though you're on holiday, you're still here for Wednesday, 12 till 1 with Wow Ergonomics.
I said I would for this one because
you did.
So we're gonna break with tradition and actually talk about some ergonomics.
Okay. We haven't done that for a while.
Well, we've kind of segued it in a little bit. And if Mr. Bakker Elkhuysen's listening, we're maybe even mention some Bakker Elkhuysen product on the show. Who knows? But let's start with this. So what I found was a cheeky little list.
Okay. And
I'm going to show you where people can find it. It's at this web address here that's going along the bottom now. It's the bookauthority.org, and it's new books on ergonomics.
Okay.
That's quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. So within this top 10 list of brand new books on ergonomics, what do you think is near the top of that list?
Brand new books.
Yeah, these are brand new books on ergonomics, just being published this year.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that this one's fairly close to home for me.
Oh,
there's a bit of a
chairs.
Guess for you. No. Think about my wife. Think about the other half.
The NHS.
Yeah. Close.
Dentistry.
Right. Near the top. Right near the top. This was number 2 in their list. Ergonomics in dentistry.
Wow.
Yeah. Because actually it's a real problem, ergonomics in dentistry. Real problem. As my wife will tell you, because you have to spend most of the day leaning over someone. Yep. That's not ideal.
No.
It's not an ideal thing at all. So that might actually be quite a good book to read if you're a dentist out there, and you're struggling with your positioning, or you're a dental nurse and you're struggling with how to stand, how to position things, etc. But I mean, even when they use, and here's a big debate: are dental nurses DSE users? That is actually a massive debate within the industry.
Well, I know when I go, there's usually the dentist examining your teeth, and he's shouting out numbers and letters to a colleague strategically placed next to a screen, inputting information. So there must be, surely, would you say?
Well, the issue comes in terms of the amount of time spent on that computer. Because it's not a huge amount of time at any one time, but throughout the day, it's quite a lot of time. If anyone has any information on that, or knows whether they feel that dental nurses or any other kind of nurse that maybe just as part of their job is entering information into a computer, whether they should come under DSE or not, let us know. That would be really interesting. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting book.
And do we have any more from the top 10?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
I'm not leaving it there.
No.
So the second one, again, quite a subject quite close to my heart. Any guesses?
You or your wife?
Me this time.
Or assessments? How to conduct your own assessment? No.
Think about my T-shirt, which is today. It's a Rush T-shirt.
You've got me. Clothing?
No, here we go.
Okay.
Again, from the top 10.
Right.
Guitar ergonomics. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Guitar. Now, what I want to know, Graham, is though, how long are these books? I'm imagining they're pamphlets rather than books. Are we talking, are we talking many chapters, or are we talking a few pages?
Well, I don't know. I'll have to do further research into that to find out. If anyone wants to send me a copy of any of these books so I can read them, I'll quite happily review them. But yeah, guitar ergonomics.
Is the risk though, and obviously you are far more of an aficionado than I am on music and guitars, but is it possible that you could put yourself in a position that is neutrally good for your body but bad from a music creativity perspective. In other words, you have to adopt poor positioning to play certain chords, certain styles. Would it just not work if you put it in a certain position?
Well, it's quite interesting. I did a bit of band management for a while, and I had a friend who was a top level bass guitarist, and he actually ended up having to relearn how to play with his right hand.
Okay.
Because the way that he was holding his right hand and the way that he was playing with his right hand initially was causing him pains and issues in the wrist.
Carpal tunnel
Type issues. Yeah. So he had to get that sorted out with a physio, etc., and then had to relearn a different technique with his right hand in order to not have those issues in the future.
And so was he as good the second time round as he was the first time?
It was. I think it's a similar situation to like when I was young, and I remember Nick Faldo having to relearn his swing completely. Yeah. Because otherwise it was causing back issues, etc.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's quite an interesting subject. I mean, anybody that plays an instrument, potentially has, it's a repetitive issue, isn't it? It's potentially a repetitive strain issue. I think what's interesting about it is that when people think about ergonomics, they may just generalize and go straight to, it's all about a desk and working at a desk, but it's not. It's
about the body, isn't it?
It's about the body.
Ultimately, your natural assumption, because of what we do, is it's a mouse, it's a keyboard, it's a stand, it's a da-da-da-da-da. But actually, you're only seeing it through a very narrow filter. Actually, when you open it up, as you say, you suddenly start thinking about dentistry, you start thinking about guitar. It's all about body position, isn't it?
In fact, my friend, it's not. It's bigger than that.
Okay.
As book number 3 reveals.
Wow.
The Ergonomics of Life. Look at that. Now, this is one that I really want to read. Enhancements you can apply into your life in stress management, your body, your time, money, leadership, and more. Ergonomics of Life.
The cynic in me thinks, Graham, that the word ergonomic is being bandied around so much that people are sort of using it as a buzzword. So trying to crowbar the word ergonomics into the title of a publication to sell more of that said publication.
Maybe. I mean, that certainly may well be the issue there. However, on the other hand, what I thought was quite interesting about that book and that title, etc., was actually the fact that, and as I've said before, we shouldn't necessarily just see looking at these subjects as just one particular silo.
Yeah.
So what's great about that is, are there enhancements that you can apply in life? I mean, actually, when it comes to things like, if you think about that, stress management, time, money, leadership, and more, actually getting a workstation set up correctly can have an impact on all of those things. Yeah. Stress management can have an impact on your time management. If you're actually not, your desk isn't covered in rubbish and bits and pieces and whatever, and you actually become a little bit more organized and a little bit more structured, which actually prevents you from twisting and turning and everything else as well. But at the same time, actually makes you a little bit more focused.
Are these UK books, Graham? Do we know, or are they? Where are these books?
No, this is an American site.
Okay,
this is an American site. But I thought it was great place to start. Yeah. Great place to start. If anyone's written any great books on ergonomics this year, and you're watching this back over the next 14 hours or whatever, do comment. Do let us know. Hi,
and send us a copy. We'll gladly read it, and we'll plug it as well if you send us a copy.
Hopefully you're joining us on the show today, aren't you? That would be great. I'll send you a magic link if you haven't got it already. So look, I think at this stage it would only be fair, seeing as Backer actually sponsor this whole show.
Yeah.
Just bear with me.
On. Are you rummaging around in your sample box, Graham?
Yeah. There you go. So there we go. This is a Backer product. Can you tell us what Backer product this is? This is competition. No, you're not meant to look.
Oh, sorry.
You're just meant to know straight off the top of your head, just by looking at that.
It looks like the Q Hybrid to me.
This is an Ergo Q260.
Or the 260. Similar packaging. Yes, it was one of the two.
There you go.
Can we edit that, Graham, from the
this, which is so edit, I don't edit that from this live thing that we're doing.
Make me say something different. So.
And there you are. And look, it's even got there's nice little instructions on the inside of it. A well thought out design product that Q260 is. Yeah, it's very nice.
My question for you, Graham, is why isn't someone in your house, if not you, using it?
Well, the reason for that at the moment is because everybody's on holiday.
Oh, well, I suppose so. Laptops packed away for 6 weeks.
Most of the kids' equipment is definitely packed away for the time being, for the foreseeable future. And there we go. So that's one particular product from Backer. We will be testing Stephen on other products from Backer in other weeks.
See if I can get one right.
See if over the weeks you can get one right. If you've got any questions for either me or Stephen this morning, if you'd like us to discuss any particular subject, do just put a comment in the comments, and we'd be most happy to do that. I'm just going to see. Oh, look, I've got a message on here.
Okay.
Oh, I'm just messaging Rebecca because she's there we go.
Is she joining us?
Well, I think so. I'm just waiting for her to do that.
She's definitely in the friend of the show bracket, isn't she?
She's definitely in the friend of the show bracket.
4 or 5 weeks ago now, she's probably our number one fan.
I'm going to put now the next subject on. So that was great. That was a lovely little introduction to ergonomics this morning. I want to talk about this. The Olympics. The Olympics have been fantastic so far, I thought. Did you get emotional when Tom won his gold at long last?
I wouldn't say emotional. It was a great moment, but I wouldn't say I didn't get too teary over it, Graham. But it was certainly
he certainly got emotional, didn't he?
He did. He's put a lot of effort. I mean, it's his third or fourth Olympics. You know, he's really worked up to it, so he thoroughly deserved. Great to see him win. So.
Oh, she's saying she needs the link. Look at this. I sent her the link.
What does "Let's get jackets" mean?
Let's get jackets. No idea whatsoever what that means.
As in potatoes or leather?
I think, leather jackets would suit us, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know, we could come on leather. Potato jackets would be quite nice as well.
I'm just thinking it was lunchtime. Was she saying I'm off to do the lunch run? I wasn't sure what she was.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. What do you have in your jacket potato?
Ooh.
There's
I think I'd go chili and cheese.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know, we could come on there, but potatoes. You've got us in the background.
I think it was lunchtime. Was she saying I'm off to do the lunch run? I wasn't sure what she was.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. What do you have in your jacket potato? Listen to that.
I think I'd go chili and cheese.
You need to get rid of that LinkedIn link. You know, we could come on there, but potatoes. You've got us in the.
It's like we're like 15 seconds. It's a bit like is it Groundhog Day or something where we're just reliving
when we bring you in, you need to turn your LinkedIn link off because otherwise we can hear us 15 seconds behind.
Yeah.
Or is that right? There we go.
It all happened at once. We were talking about jacket potatoes.
Yeah. So what's your filling of choice?
Just cheese and butter.
Just cheese. Now, the one that I don't get is tuna and baked beans.
That's disgusting.
Isn't it?
I don't think you should ever, those two never, ever should be served on the same plate, ever.
No. I mean, tuna and mayonnaise is all right with a bit of lettuce. That's okay. baked beans with cheese, maybe that's fine. Personally, if you want to go for a little bit of a hot one, you can do baked beans with a bit of garam masala. If you want a bit of a hot one,
you're not selling it, Graham.
Like even come back.
But
that's immoral.
It's not immoral.
It's totally immoral.
Where Odessa comes from, it's actually truffles and
grated.
It's called a standard, Graham. It's called a standard.
It's asparagus stalks with truffle and a jus on jacket potato.
And like a foam. Is it a foam or something as well? Is it a truffle foam?
A foam. Oh my goodness! People that make foams for food, that's just wrong. So, have you watched any of the Olympics at all?
No.
Or have you just tried to avoid it?
I'm not going to lie to you.
No, I don't mind.
Until like everyone's polls and outrage at coverage and whatnot, I didn't even know it was happening. Like I've been living under a rock. Brilliant. Or just buried under 3 children. It's possible that is.
Tell us about these polls and the outrage. I mean, what are people fed up of it? Or?
Well, no, like where you've seen people's polls saying, "Oh, the gymnastics wasn't getting covered" or something, or I haven't seen enough of the sport or event I was looking at, and I'm like, okay, that's happening. I thought we were still arguing about the Euros, but okay. Life's too busy to worry about the Olympics at this point.
To be honest, if you miss it, it's called the red button. Just press it and watch it back.
If you have to know it's on, Stephen, before you press the red button. If you don't know it's happening, then
if you're that bothered, is the.
I mean, it was a big deal the last time. At this time, I think there's so much going on that everyone's just a bit like, who cares?
Well, it was a big deal when we hosted it, wasn't it? Yeah. That's the thing. I enjoyed it when we hosted it. I can remember sitting in a tent in the middle of Camp Festival. That's where we watched it. So we were at this big festival. And we had all of the musicians at the beginning of it playing, all of the greatest British songs, which are obviously the best songs ever, at the beginning. And then, there was it was just pomp and circumstance, wasn't it? It's marvellous. And we enjoyed that. You know why
I enjoyed it, and you know why I caught so much more of it? Because it was before I had my first child.
Yeah, there's that in there.
That's what I can remember. That's why I enjoyed it. There was no.
But that goes for anything in life, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Once you've had your 100%. First child, once you've had 5 children like me, you don't actually know anything's happening in life. It's completely, life just passes you by. Yeah. I think it's I was impressed with the swimming. Yeah. That's what I'll say. That guy that won the swimming I mean, his guns are amazing, aren't they? He's,
He was built like do they call it a brick outhouse? Would they say?
Yeah. That's the non-crude version.
Nobody wants to be an outhouse. What the hell?
That's the term though, wasn't it?
I've never heard that expression ever.
Have you not? Well, the actual term's got a naughty word in it, right? But
there you go.
But yeah, he's got very big arms. I'm surprised actually that he can float. I'm surprised. I mean, he must have to just keep them moving, because if he just stopped, he would just go like that.
Yeah.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah. No, I was really chuffed for Tom Daly and the other guy whose name completely escapes me now.
He might have a medal, but he has no identity.
Who managed to get the gold? That is a skill, isn't it? To jump off a board at that height and to completely be in sync with each other to hit the water, and to wear speedos that tight, it's all a skill. I think anyone that can get into speedos like that, deserves a medal. Really,
actually, I was watching a bit this morning before work, and I guess the boards it must be at different heights. So there was a guy. It was 2 guys again doing it, and they were going to try and win the bronze or silver medal. And the one guy, totally epic failed, and they scored 0 points because he didn't go in hands first. He ended up sort of belly flopping in. So the scores then came across the bottom. And it was like they went from like third to last because they literally scored, and the scoreboard came up and it was 0, 0, 0, 0.
Do you know what though? You've just come up with an epic idea. That would make such better TV, wouldn't it, than these Olympic Games? Why don't we have
worst landings?
The NAF Games, like where people just do it really badly. I mean, I could do that. I'd probably have like a ball that was just about a chair's height.
Yeah.
And just belly flopping, and just make it as bad as possible.
To be fair, though, he must have felt a whole lot better when the guy he was doing with just sort of walked off, picked up his bag and walked out. And I just thought, there's not really much team love going on there, is there? Yeah. The guy was just left there standing on his own as his mate just walked off in absolute disgust.
What game would you do really badly then, Odessa?
There's so many things, Graham. Why would you limit it to one?
You could be
why are you ruining my potential? I don't know.
You could be a multi-sport athlete. Yeah.
I'd love to have a go with one of the guns. I'd love to do a bit of archery. I think I'd do it terribly, but I'd love to have a go. I think that'd be fun. But you might want to leave the stadium just in case for your own health and safety.
Have you ever done any of that? I've done longbow. Have you ever tried anything like that, Stephen?
Oh, only at Centre Parks, probably.
Yeah, Centre Parks. Yeah, I got quite good at longbow at Centre Parks.
I think it was the kids' Robin Hood archery thing, and I think I won. But then again, I only beat 2 7-year-olds. So a win's a win.
It actually reminds me. Me and my son went to do the longbow at Centre Parks, and whilst we were there, this other group turned up to do the clay pigeon shooting. Oh, I've never seen anything so hilarious, right? Because with the longbow, it is actually a proper longbow. You actually do it. You stand there, you have to pull the thing back, you put the arrow in, you do actually shoot something that could actually maim someone, right? The clay pigeon shooting, it's just this bunch of people, and it's like a soundtrack in the background, and it's just all these adults, like literally with like the sound of a clay going off, and they're just going, and it's like it's all virtual.
Yeah,
it just looks like they've gone mad. They've been let out of the penitentiary,
and they were charged about 60 quid for the pleasure.
Yes.
Saw you coming, didn't they?
Oh, so funny. No, I could have watched that for days. Could have done. Anyway, so I think we've done the Olympics because none of us really know anything.
Between each of us, yeah, probably. We've given it a try.
None of us know anything about the Olympics. Let's be fair about this. It's on at the moment, folks. If you want to watch it, just, and if you're one of these people that stays up all night to watch it, well, really.
I do think, though, it's one of those ones where you get a sporting event and it doesn't suit British summertime, the interest of a lot of people wanes. It's like I'm getting up at 4 a.m. to watch like Iran versus Bahrain at fencing. It's like I don't think I am. It sort of loses its impact, doesn't it? Really, we're interested in sporting events that run around our timeline, put us out of our comfort zone. Not interested.
Now, Stephen, I have to tell you, there's a reason why Odessa's on today.
Okay.
Even she doesn't know why.
No.
At the moment, but I'm now going to tell her, right?
Oh, no.
Because all of this is her fault. All of it, right?
The Olympics
all started.
COVID.
It all started with an article she wrote on LinkedIn, which was all about this. Okay. Can we all see that?
We can.
Dysphoria, right? So, Odessa, do you just want to explain to Stephen what is dysphoria and what's it all about?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Graham, because I hadn't prepared anything. I'm joking, I have. So I've had a contact with a guy called Chris for quite some time. We've had a chat once or twice about something he was looking to develop, and I caught up with him because he does these wonderfully random stories called the Pity Stories. And I asked what he was working on, and he mentioned that he was helping get the funding and sorting out this film. So I had a spare Friday afternoon. I thought, why not? So I connected with the lady who was the screenwriter. We had a wonderful chat, and I did what I do for some people if I can get an angle on it. And I said that I'd write an article, where I said I'd write a post. But I was so taken back by her experience that I wrote an article, and essentially it's an article about the mental health crisis in East Asian culture, specifically in Chinese culture, where Yenis actually comes from, and talking about how these are conversations they're not allowed to have. This is an education they're not allowed to share. They're not allowed to kind of go through any of their experiences. Everything that they say is kind of explained away or ignored. So what she's decided to do is, bravely from her own experience, she's written a script, and she's put something together, and they're now in pre-production for filming to start next week, and Dysphoria is going to be the product of that.
Wow. Yes, it's quite something. It really is quite something. And as a little follow-up to that, I actually asked Yenis how it was going. Right, I put a little thing out on LinkedIn, and I said, how is it going? She sent me this.
So Graham Coath on LinkedIn asked me how it's going. How's it going, Ed?
Great. So great.
So as you can see, so far it's going tremendously well.
Is part of this story going to be that me and you are going to be extras in it, Graham? Is that where this is going?
Well, you could do that. You could do that. Where's it being shot? London, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So you could do that.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Yeah. Get down to London, be in it. Yeah. Be in it to win it.
Yeah. No, I spoke to Yenis this morning, and she said filmmaking is all about problem solving. So they're having some issues trying to get permissions from the council and that sort of thing, but finding the right places to do the filming, kind of getting everything sort of set up, getting a better idea of where it all needs to be. So no, it's very interesting. It's a busy time. They're very frantic at the moment trying to get everything organised. But yeah, they start filming. I believe it's next Tuesday and Wednesday. They're hoping to get the vocal bit done. So yeah, hopefully we'll have something more to watch and to hear about. But the team's been brilliant. They've been so active on LinkedIn, and they've got a Facebook page. And in connection with something that Chris has been running as an initiative, they've kind of got these perks that you can do for all your donations. So he's writing one of his pithy stories that each of the donations people who've done the donations can read a line out and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of things to kind of build up that community spirit. But yeah, I mean, I only use LinkedIn. So that's where I brought it, and it's we've had some great support, so very good.
Still need some more money though.
Indeed.
Yeah. Do we know where they've got to in the raising of the money?
I believe they've still got maybe a third, maybe just over a third. I'm not entirely sure. It changes all the time, but yeah, they're still looking for investment. They're still looking for people to make donations. To try and, I think, because what's important to remember is it's not just the production costs, it's also all the the entrance to the film festivals and stuff like that, and transport to make sure that they can get it heard and get it seen in the right places. So it's all a process.
There you go. You see, so we're doing something wonderful this morning for these people. So if anyone wants to donate money, is there a website address there? So that we can give.
Let me get hold of it, and I'll pop it in the comments.
Of course,
Graham can pop it along the banner, can't you? Then,
of course, if they need any ergonomic equipment in their film, I'm sure we could get hundreds of that.
I'm sure, yeah. I mean, I probably wouldn't recognise what it is, but I could certainly get it. So.
Multiple choice for a fundraiser is, can you guess what your product is? We'll give you 3 options.
Here we go.
We can't let that be in Spotify. That needs to be removed from all playbacks.
Oh, so thank you very much. We've got this here now. I'll just put that across the bottom. There you go. It's good to go with very short, snappy website links and titles. If you're raising money, but there we go.
It rolls off the tongue, that one, doesn't it?
Just rolls off the tongue. The main thing is get that first bit down, Indiegogo, etc. And then once you're into that website, you can actually do a search for dysphoria. I found that myself, because actually trying to remember the whole thing, well, I thought I get there and then try and find it. You know, it's much easier that way than trying to remember the whole of that link. You know,
I wonder if we close your eyes now, Graham. Right, here's again. Stop it. How much of that can you remember?
Cuddly toy.
Like, yeah. Ridiculously long web link.
Yeah. Slash. Yeah. Crisis. There we go. See how much of that I remembered? Anyway, well, I'll leave that going along the bottom.
Quickly jot it down.
I just need to take a picture of the screen. Hang on a second.
If you've got a tattoo artist, just get it written along the inside of your arm. You know, where's your commitment, Stephen?
I've got a biro. I can just.
Guys, this is the beautiful thing about this. Okay, this might be live, but it's not like TV. It's not like, you know, remember when you were young and you watched like morning TV and they went, the number's going to be on the screen now. You've got to write it down. Go and get a pen and paper and you've got to write it down because this is live. The beauty of this is, yes, it's live, but this stuff is going to stay around on LinkedIn for the next, week or so. So
you're going to say 30 years.
30 years. Yeah. It's going to
a long game.
It's going to pollute LinkedIn's air for years and years to come. So it doesn't matter. You can just come. In fact, the film will have been made and then remade several times by the time you actually get to see the.
You might get in the next version or the next 3 versions. You could become part of the cast. You never know. Anything can happen.
You do also have to explain that. How many of these people have been in a Bond film as well?
Just Yennis.
Just Yennis. Yeah. So Yennis was in Skyfall.
Okay.
As wasn't it one of the henchwomen?
I believe so, in the casino. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah. So if you want to get involved indirectly with a Bond film, give money.
I'm not sure you can. That's false advertising. I don't think you can make that link. If you want to be in a Bond film.
No, but one of the perks for making a donation is to get a signed.
I didn't say I said indirectly with. Indirectly with a person.
I'm with you on that one.
With a person that has been in a Bond film.
Yeah.
You're taking your medication today, Graham. Are you feeling all right?
No, not at all.
I feel like
this is what happens when he's on holiday. This is what happens when he's on holiday.
Meanwhile, whilst that's still going across the bottom, we are going to talk about this topic: supermarket shortages. This has been happening everywhere, has it not? Have you experienced this, Odessa? Maybe not where you live, because you live in a very posh area of the country, and
Waitrose never run out, do they?
Ocado and Waitrose.
It's dedication. No, I mean, I don't tend to go to the supermarket.
Right, there you go.
People to do that.
I have a gopher that does that for me. I send my husband, and I only go to the cheese and crisp section when I do, and that's always fine. So, and the beer. So I mean, I'm fine. Anybody else? If you need anything else, I'm really sorry about your loss, but I'm good.
Five a day covered there.
Definitely
cheese, crisps, and lager.
I have definitely witnessed this in our supermarkets lately, and in fact, it's people around the town are beginning to get quite upset about it. Supermarket shortages. Now, can you tell me why there are supermarket shortages at the moment? Any reasons that you have heard?
They reckon it's the pingdemic.
Pingdemic, that's the one, right?
Everybody's being called away from work because they've been in some kind of proximity with another human life form that may or may not have had COVID.
So what is going on with this pingdemic? What is going on with this app? That's what I want to know.
You wonder why many people are deleting it.
Yeah, but this is the problem, isn't it? It comes back. We talked about this the other week. It comes back to this problem. If everybody starts deleting it, if nobody's going to care about that, and then nobody's going to isolate, then it's just. I mean, might as well. It's free for all, isn't it? Yeah. Do you think someone out there actually just wants us to get on with it? Or do you think it actually is a complete disaster in terms of
total disaster? That is definitely
a disaster in terms of app technology and what's going on You know,
I mean, it was a slow starter to start off with anyway, wasn't it? They had loads of problems, and now we've got more problems because there's more people with it. And what I find really interesting, and I've moaned about this quite a lot, is that we're always told how many people have got it at any one time, or how many people are dying from it. How many people have recovered from it? Where's the positivity? Like, how many people are saying, yeah, do you know
Doesn't
what?
suit the agenda.
We're fine. No, it doesn't. I'm quite disappointed. Just saying, there's a silver lining. There's got to be. Like,
well, we are being told at the moment that the infection rate has started to go back down
I think
over
so.
the last week or so. Yeah,
down to like 22,000, but then I was
just 22,000.
Just 22,000.
As long as they're not Milton Keynes, I don't mind.
You know, if that were, look, let's put that into perspective just for a second there. If that was figures for people turning up at a gig somewhere, right? You'd be saying that was a lot of people, right? Yeah, we played a gig last night. 22,000 people turned up. That's
you know what
brilliant.
that is? You know what that is, don't you? That's the 22,000 people at the Euros, all at the stadium at once.
Although you say that about the numbers going down, I was a friend of mine who works in the health profession, who I saw last night, and he said one of the reasons they think it's dropping is that people daren't risk losing their holidays, summer holidays, and therefore have stopped testing.
Yeah,
so they don't. Put their holidays under threat.
This is where this comes back into this whole thing about the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
If people stop testing and people stop, they start deleting the app,
it's gone. It's over.
Then,
or third option, it could be that they've just quickly left the country, so that 30,000 people live somewhere else in the world now. Somewhere in a green listed country, there are the missing 30,000.
Yeah, Mallorca's got a massive problem.
As long as it's not on our stats, I really don't care. We're not hearing about global stats anymore, so the localized problem.
No, but what we are beginning to hear about, did you see there was a news story this morning that I think it's today, they're debating whether or not to stop isolation after if you've double vaccinated and you've done your COVID test, stopping isolation for the States. And there was one other place as well coming back over here.
France?
Can't remember the other place. But I mean, again, potentially worrying, seeing as parts of the States are not on top of it.
No, they were saying there's a lot of they've got massive problems in a lot of the southern states, haven't they? They were quite. I think I read something and it was saying like Florida and Georgia and some of those southern states have got massive problems with low uptake of vaccines, haven't they?
No, absolutely. So
something really rude then. I'm not going to.
Really?
You're just going to leave?
No. I'm just going to be rude. I won't. I'll keep it PC.
Can you tell us without being rude?
Can you type it in the comments?
Yeah, just to send us a private message.
And then no one on Spotify will have any idea.
And me and Steve will just laugh at it.
Yeah.
And depending upon the tone of our laugh, they might get what it is. That might work.
No, but it's really tickled me. Carry on.
Oh.
It's rude. It's not fair when someone keeps a joke to themselves, is it?
No, okay, well, I'll just say it then. I was just like, in the South, they're slower on the uptake anyway, so a jab's really different.
Woo! Oh dear. There's been some comments on this live this morning.
You had the option.
No, I did have the option. No.
You had consent. You gave consent.
Yeah, no,
it's Graham's show. It's all on him.
It is. It is. Oh, there's more people watching now because of that. See what happens? A little bit of controversy, and nerd people start to watch. Okay, so I mean, pandemic. That's one of the reasons why the supermarkets are empty. I think the other reason is because everyone's bought ice cream.
Yeah, they're so selfish.
I know.
And I'm surprised because IKEA obviously sell those sets all year round of make it yourself. And let's face it, every parent has got one of those sets where you put the juice in or something like that and you make it yourself, you put it in the freezer. So technically we've all had the capability of making it, but we're still going out to buy them all in the summer. You just don't have the time.
You think every parent...
Everyone thought that was a really good idea, either when their child was teething, especially if you had a child teething in the summer, or just because it gave the kids some independence and they wanted to do it themselves. Every parent, I've got 2 sets, incomplete sets, but 2 sets. Every parent.
Now, see, this is what I was coming to. I probably agree with you that every parent has got a set, make your own ice lolly set, right? Yeah. But I'm pretty certain that either, as you say, A, that set is incomplete, or B, that's hiding in a cupboard mouldy somewhere. And
why is it mouldy?
Because it's been in a cupboard and it wasn't washed out because the kids used it last time, didn't bother to wash it out and put it back in a cardboard box in the cupboard. Now you go to find it and it's like got bits of mold and everything on it.
Steve, do you get the feeling that 5 was too many for some people?
Yeah.
So has everybody else in the country? That's a poll for tomorrow. Has everybody in the country that's got children got an ice cream making set or a ice lolly set?
Lolly, definitely.
Ice lolly set, maybe. But yeah, no, I was quite upset last week when I went to the supermarket. Couldn't get ice lollies for toffee. Ice cubes are difficult to get hold of.
Yeah.
So I bought a bag of mixed frozen berries instead. It's not the same.
Not when you're putting it in a G&T, no.
Do you know what? It's pretty in a G&T, but it has no value at all for cooling that liquid down. But then
have you thought buying more? What about buying more ice cube trays and making your own?
I haven't stepped foot in IKEA since the pandemic because the queues in the one in Milton Keynes have been so long. It's just not been worth it.
Really?
And it was not worth paying like a £5 for the delivery for just some stuff like that. So just leave it.
What is IKEA the only place you can get ice cube trays?
I don't know. That's my go-to. I've got one.
I've got a real feeling. This is really quite interesting. I've got a real feeling you don't actually go to the shops very much.
No,
it's not anymore. No,
loud and clear.
Yeah, because
no, but I do have. I've got some in the shape of Coca-Cola bottles, and I've got some in the shape of fish because I thought that was really funny. But I bought the fish one before I had children.
Yeah,
I think it's Mr. Odessa who does. It's Mr. Odessa who does all the shops. Who does all.
No, it is.
Clearly in their house. It's a blue job, isn't it, as opposed to a pink job?
No, I like doing it. No, I like doing it, but we didn't flip for it. It was decided upon for him that he would be the one who goes to the supermarket.
So with that piece of information, has he come back from the shops recently? This is interesting. Has he come back from the shops recently saying, I haven't managed to get anything? And did you just get mad at him because he didn't bring...
The only thing that he's forgotten to come back with that I've noticed or cared about is olives. And that's because he didn't know if green ones were as acceptable as black ones.
Oh my word, that's a whole debate in itself, isn't it?
So he was like, I didn't want to get the wrong one, so I didn't get any at all.
I think he was too scared to come home. He said he hadn't got anything, so he just said, "Yeah, got it all, no problem. It's in the freezer," and then just
I found the lack of olives.
Yeah,
making a salad. I was so
There's a poll in there, Graham: black, green, or none of the above.
What are men scared to go? I tell you what, it is actually a common problem. How many times, Stephen, you got to admit to this now, how many times have you been to the supermarket and then you phoned your wife because you're meant to be getting something and you're not certain which of the things that you're meant to be getting it is?
Multiple occasions.
In multiple occasions, exactly.
What's really funny about this is before I cracked down on these missing items, sometimes I get a video call. Sometimes I would do a video call and go, are you sure? Like, which one am I getting? I don't know. It's so confusing. No, I don't even get that. He just comes home and he just faces the wrath like it doesn't matter.
Or I find that if you throw in some sort of Cadbury's product, it deflects from the issue.
I know. See, Cadbury's not good enough.
What? If you buy something,
Lindt,
Hotel Chocolat,
good. On
the
side.
Hotel Chocolat. I like where this is going. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a note for that later. Thanks so much.
That certainly works, doesn't it? I
think you've just ended my marriage, but thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Odessa.
I did that I did that the other day. I came back with 6 bottles of my wife's favourite wine, hoping that she wouldn't notice that I'd forgotten something, and she did. She completely forgot. But it does work.
That's because you did one glass after the next of these 6 bottles.
She was having wine in a tea because he hadn't brought the milk.
That's an old Father Ted joke, isn't it? Do you notice? Cultural reference point there. Oh dear.
It's not just thrown together, this show. Well,
no,
it
it's
is,
not.
But...
We actually we plan it for months.
Well, at 11:55, you send me the link and say, "Are you joining?" That's about as much planning goes into this.
That's definitely it. So that I think that was a much more, have to say, compared with supermarket shortages, which was your initial topic, Stephen. That was actually a much more interesting topic, which was men going to the shops. I have got
a good reason for it. I have got a good reason as to why he goes. I feel like I need to clear my name here.
No,
I feel like I do now because this is live. In that I have got elderly relatives that I would rather go and see, so that I can continue going to see them. I try and reduce as much of my contact with the outside world as possible. There you go. There's a genuine reason.
Anyone buying this? An office during the week?
There was too many questions at once.
Okay, sorry.
I said, is anyone buying this excuse? And then Graham said, but you go to the office in the week. I
do have to go to the office the week.
Well, isn't that part of my job? Does that not expose you to other people?
Yeah, well,
so
how much you talk to them and how close you sit to them, to be fair.
You just don't want to do the shopping. I think you just need it's
being
defined as a blue job in your house.
No. I love doing the shopping because I get to choose what we eat. And when he goes, we come back with Yorkshire puddings, random bits of meat. I mean, it's a typical guy shop. There's nothing that I had to go vegetarian, so that's not great for me. And he comes back with a lettuce as if to say, "Well, I tried."
Can I ask what's his favourite shop out of the supermarkets?
See, I sent him to Morrison's, but he often comes back from Asda.
See, now you see, this is getting even better. What is it in Asda that he actually likes getting?
He likes so when he does go, I do listen quite a lot because I'm waiting for which bits he forgot. He likes the egg noodles for stir fry from Asda as opposed to Morrison's ones. Now I've made him go to Morrison's for those noodles, or I've purchased them myself for a substantial period of time. But suddenly, after 18 months of solitude, he could take it no longer. He must go to Asda for the egg noodles, a meal that we have maybe once every couple of months, or we go through phases. I don't feel the same, where you find one meal that everybody really likes, so it becomes a weekly staple. So he's put up with this for quite some time before it broke him. I don't know what happened.
Also, Asda potentially has a larger electronics section, stroke entertainment section, maybe than Morrison's.
He doesn't come back with anything.
No, but does he browse? Does he browse? Does it take too long to do the? Does it take him too long to do the shopping?
I'm trying to think what he comes back with that isn't on the list. There's usually a lot. None of it's electronic.
No, but what I'm saying is,
you're saying he browses.
Does
he buys everything on Amazon anyway? So.
Oh right, yeah, but does he browse? So the point is this, because I think men love.
Are you going to put him on the show next week?
Yeah, that would be fun. I think men love to browse in shops. You see, I think ultimately, I've heard my wife say that when we go to like Tesco's or whatever, she just wants to get around. She just wants to get,
Yeah.
But if there's a interesting section in a shop, I like to stop and have a look at everything.
He's spending a lot of time with camping equipment.
Camping equipment.
Camping equipment. And I think Asda do normally have tents
car
set
bits.
Up.
Yeah.
No, he's not a car bit person because it's really my car. So.
Yeah. But camping equipment.
Camping equipment, I think, is where we're at.
That's pretty
Did you see, Graham, that, and speaking of browsing and entertainment and supermarkets, so there is some sort of joining this together, but did you see that Sainsbury's are stopping to selling DVDs and CDs?
Yeah, funnily enough, I did a poll on that.
Oh, did you? Seamless link.
Is there a poll you haven't yet conducted, Graham?
Olives.
Yeah, the next one.
That's
olives.
Tomorrow.
And actually, I've got the next 2 days written down, but olives. I might go. What would we want to ask on olives? Because I think that's an interesting one.
Well, I mean,
are we literally? Going
I didn't think it was that interesting for a poll, so this is really using my imagination.
Hang on, you haven't read some of Graham's other polls. That's like
I have read some of them.
No, they are actually more interesting than that, aren't they? Maybe.
You can tell he gets paid to write them. No, I guess it's green versus black. And do you have them if they're filled? Do you have them pitted? Because some people like it. All right, calm down, connoisseur. Do you have them pitted or not? I guess that would be another one. It's difficult to say.
Pitted.
Yeah, pitted. That's where the stone's out. I understand that.
I bet your husband does that, doesn't he? He pits your olives, as it were.
No.
I
haven't got him that well trained. How many years of marriage is it before I get that service? Just to double check.
That's next year. That's next
10.
year.
Oh.
Yeah. There you go.
I mean, for my 10th anniversary, I wanted to be in Canada, but clearly pitting my olives is up there as a service that I should have waited for.
Mm. That's an interesting topic, and actually one that we should bring out. Has
pitting olives?
No, not pitting olives.
Oh, Canada.
We've already got one olive pole. Calm down, Stephen. Okay?
Wedding anniversaries. I mean, do you think wedding anniversaries have suffered immensely during the pandemic?
They're rubbish now.
Mm.
Yeah.
It was my only opportunity for free childcare without question, and that's gone.
Yeah.
Somebody's isolating.
I think a lot of people. I mean, I'd love to hear from anyone.
They just don't want my 3 small children, to be fair. But I mean, it's come at a convenient time.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from anyone that's had a major wedding anniversary in the middle of the pandemic. It's I bet they've
weddings for that matter. That's pretty more significant than a wedding anniversary, isn't it? It's the weddings that have been rescheduled.
Yeah.
Lots of people.
Yeah, that is sad.
What was the favourite part of yours for planning a wedding? What were you allowed to get involved with? Maybe I should specify. Which bit were you allowed to make a decision on?
Not a lot.
None.
None of it.
No. I have to say, if had our time over again in terms of wedding planning, wouldn't have any of the parents involved at all.
What do you mean? Not
invite them?
No, I'd invite them, but apart from that,
mine actually threatened not to be. To be fair, they said they'd sit at the back. My family love me.
Well, actually, if you want to hear a really good story, so at our wedding reception, we had various family members turn up in order to do the catering. It was a very sort of, cheap, low key affair. We didn't have a lot of money back then.
The same. Yeah.
And get this is such a good story. Midway through the reception, we caught various family members taking the food and putting it back in their car. They were gonna nick off with it. Booze as well.
That I understand.
And we had to stop them and get it back in.
Are there any olives? Was it the olive bowl?
Midway through the first dance, I'm afraid someone's just taken the chicken jalfrezi.
It was the pitted olives. Yeah.
Yeah. They were. Someone you ordered them pitted, and they were unpitted.
Yeah. So, I wouldn't let family get involved in actually doing things at a wedding.
Hang on. You haven't. The best bit of the story. What was there? Some sort of confrontation? Did it kick off, as it were?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because they were literally trying to nick off.
They were stealing the food.
Were blows exchanged?
No. I mean, that would have been pretty awful, wouldn't it? Police
would have been a hell of a great story, though.
Yeah, wouldn't it? It would have. Yeah. No, we managed to sort it without it coming to that. I think basically.
How many bottles did you have to give away in exchange for the food back?
It was, but people had to sort of skulk off with their heads hung in shame.
Why were they pinching the food?
Why do you think?
I don't know. I think that's why he asked.
So they could have it. Yeah. They wanted to have it for themselves. The booze they would have been able to sell or drink.
It's a very strange thing.
Yeah. Very, very, very strange. They are. Stranger things have not happened.
I would do it differently. I would do mine differently as well. I think hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Yeah. Well, there we go. And that's been a wonderful show. You know, we've discussed all these things. Just to remind people, if they want to give money, because that is a really important thing. I'm going to just show it. It was such a good film. I think I have to show it one more time.
So Graham Coath on LinkedIn asked me how it's going. How's it going, Ed?
Great. So great.
I just noticed, Graham, the real
It's that bit of acting. It's that bit of acting there.
ergonomics involved there with his use of the laptop flat to the desk. Why did we not pick that up the first time around?
I was going to ask you that. You see, right there, poor ergonomics in that shot.
That's why he got writer's block, because he'd got too many other issues going on.
Very quickly going to cover. No, I'm very going to quickly cover that because it's a very, very interesting and valid point. The thing is, because I've talked to my son about
that. Stephen does this for a living, and he's even surprised that that's become a valid point.
Yeah.
Soapbox moment, guys.
I have talked to my son about this in the past because he obviously makes films as well, and he's had a similar situation where he's filmed like that. And the thing is that quite often we do not see people using ergonomic equipment in films because otherwise you would not see their face from that particular camera angle.
Maybe it's not pretty enough.
Right.
Face for radio.
So as the camera pans around the back of the desk, the laptop actually needs to be low so you actually get to see someone's face. If you actually had the right equipment there, you wouldn't be able to see them. You'd have to come right the way around, and the shot wouldn't look quite right. So film.
I hope this isn't keeping you up awake at night, Graham.
It does. But the point is, the thing is that film, by the nature of it having to do what it has to do, kind of glamorizes bad ergonomics. There you go.
I mean, he had to bring it back at some point, didn't he?
Had to bring it back in. I know you missed it at the beginning.
Always flat. My laptop's always flat. I'm always burning my lap because the fan.
Have you seriously not got any ergonomic equipment?
No.
Right.
I'm using the touchpad as well. Like
Stephen, can we sort that out? Yeah.
I think I ever have.
Right.
Shame on me for not picking on this.
I've got monitors in the wrong places. I've got desk chairs the wrong height. Like
get in touch with Stephen. After this. Get in touch with Stephen after this, and Stephen will sort you out with some ergonomic equipment.
You know what's worse is that I think my husband broke my chair during the first pandemic because he didn't want it and he was hoping to get rid of it. So randomly, halfway through a call, it just sort of starts going down.
And what we'll do is we'll get you back on another Wow Ergonomics when you've got your equipment for 5 minutes or so you can tell us what a difference it makes. How about that?
I mean, the gift that keeps on giving. Fine, sure.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Happy days. It was worth coming on.
It was.
Racing back from Grandma's house. It's worth that to put my mental and physical well-being first. I mean, if that's not love, I don't know what is.
No.
Well, Odessa, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks very much.
Thanks to the Dysphoria team for sending in that wonderful video. And you can if you want to see the proper film, which will be better than that video, you can make a donation at the bottom there. Thanks to Stephen for joining again. Next week, Stephen, we will be joined by Darren Stanton, who is the human lie detector. Oh yeah. So if anyone wants to come on next week, if anyone wants to join us next week and tell us a truth or a lie and let Darren tell us whether that is a truth or a lie.
You wouldn't get your money's worth, I can't lie. So
no.
I've got one of those faces where it's so readable what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm just rubbish.
Darren's already told me what he thinks.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
It really wouldn't be worth the money.
But I think we'll get some great stories out of Darren as well about some of the work that he's done. Well, I know some of it he can't talk about because it's all hush hush, but some things he'll be able to tell us about. And he's been on all the best shows, you know, ITV, BBC, etc. So he'll be live with us. Wow, Ergonomics. He's really stepping up in the world.
Yeah. It's going to be it's all downhill after next week for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he doesn't get more work after this, then I just don't know what was the point in him coming on.
Exactly that. But until then, bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.